All right, here we go, students. This is the first video tutorial on setting up PCR. So hopefully you've read and watched all the things I had for you. So here we go. I'm gonna kind of walk you through the lab. So you'll see we have setups for what you need today. I'm gonna try to do my best to point things out. You're gonna have a couple different primer sets, A, B, some enzyme, which is called TAC, which you can see that on there, some water, DNA sample of an unknown, and then 2 tubes which I've already labeled, which are going to be the number sample that I give you, and then A and B. So if you read the manual, this should make sense. We also have a set of micropipetters and tips. This is all the things that you're going to need for this lab. Now notice that I have these big tubes right here, and I have small tubes over here. We want to make sure that we set up our reactions in these small tubes so that they can go into the PCR machine. So if you have any questions at any time, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, so the first thing that you need to keep in mind is pipettes. So some of you have used pipettes before and some of you haven't. So I'm going to show you a pipette right here. The two pipettes that you're going to use today are this yellow one and the orange one that's right next to it. To adjust the volumes on these pipettes, I'll see if I can hold it closer. There's a little black turn knob right here. And what you do is you can turn it and you can see that the numbers go up and down. So in this particular yellow pipette, anything that's black is to the left of the decimal, and everything in red is to the right of the decimal. So for example, right now, this pipette is dialed in at 10.4 microliters. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna dial it up to volume that you're gonna use, 12.5 in this particular lab. And you can see right there, stop, 12.5. All right, that's how we're gonna do it. Now, next thing I'm going to show you is, just in case you've never used one of these before, is how you actually use it. I know there's a tutorial on our Canvas page, but it kind of sucks. All right, so most important thing about using a pipette, always use a tip. These yellow pipettes right here, they use these yellow tips. The orange one over here that you also use is going to use these smaller pipette tips. If you do have a question at any time, please just ask. All right, to put a tip on, just open, if I can do it with one hand, open up the tip box and just down like that. Okay, there's a tip on there. Now, importantly about these pipettes is they have ranges on them. You can see this one can accurately pipette between 2 and 20 microliters. That little mu stands for micro. All right, it's very important that at any time you do not exceed those volumes. So 12.5 is right kind of smack dab in the middle, so it's okay. Now, if you use the pipettes, they have a plunger on the top, and you push it down, and you can push it all the way down to pipette liquid. So basically draw up 12.5 microliters. I'm gonna just show this with water. So I open my water, is that you only wanna push it down outside. You wanna push the plunger down out when you're outside of the liquid. See if I can get closer. Just to the first stop, and then slowly, ever so slowly draw up. And you can see, hopefully, oh, there we go, that I have 12.5 microliters in that pipette tip. Now, if I want to expel whatever it is, this 12.5 microliters, in this case, I'm just gonna put it right back in the water. I press the plunger down, and then I press it all the way down to the second stop. So the biggest mistake that people make when learning how to pipette is they smash the plunger all the way down when they wanna draw volume up. That's not the case. So when you wanna draw volume up, push the plunger all the way down to just the first stop, stick the tip into whatever you're pipetting, then slowly let it up, and there you go, 12.5 microliters, and then to expel, then push it all the way down every time. Next important thing is get a new tip every time. This tip is now contaminated, right? It has, in this case, water, but let's say it had something else on there that I didn't want. So tips go right into the tip trash. There is a little trigger on the back that will eject the tip. Okay, so that's a little info on how to actually pipette. So now to set up the lab, all you need to do is just follow the instructions. So we're gonna set up the lab just like I had outlined in that tutorial in the lab handout. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna use 12.5 microliters of the TAC enzyme, 1 microliter of the primer A mix, another for PCR A, so 1 microliter of PCR A primer mix, 12.5 microliters of TAC. You're going to use 1 microliter of your template DNA, and then the rest will be water. So that's 12.5 plus 1 is 14.5, and then the rest is water, which will be 9.5, I believe, right? Or 10.5. All right. So yeah, maybe my math is wrong. Who cares? All right, so the final volume that you want for your PCR reaction is going to be 25 microliters. Now this will be, I'm not going to show you each individual pipetting step. Now if you do need practice pipetting, please let me know. I will help you and I'll be walking around, but this should give you a pretty good idea. So our goal for today is just to practice pipetting and then setting up these reactions. Once you're done with these reactions, give them to me. I will keep them on ice, and then I will load them into the PCR machine once I have everybody's reaction. All right, I hope you enjoyed our first tutorial video on how to actually do the lab. I'll upload this onto Canvas as soon as I can, and please let me know if you have any questions before class. All right, can't wait. See ya. Bye.